So today, Minor, we're talking about the power of attorney. This is one of the hottest topics in the world of financial security and protecting your assets. When you do a Google search, there are a million questions about how powers of attorney work and why they're so important. So I actually want to begin with this question, Minor. Why is having a power of attorney so important to you personally?
Yeah, David. mm, Part of my story is, we live life like normal. We go to work, we work for a corporation, we have mortgages to pay, the kids to pick up and everything. Everything just seems to work as life usually does until your own life is turned upside down, very similar to what happened to our family in 2021. And I'll give you just a 2-minute version of that story.
Yeah, yeah.
And really, it was in the summer of 2021. My 25-year-old daughter, Kayla, and I were both hospitalized. And after 11 days of being in the hospital, I was actually released, but she was not. And so the family would go through what we call a journey, and really in the negative sense, it was hospital trauma. In the positive sense, it was God's story about in us working through that process. It was painful, yet there was reassuring that God was working with us. But what ended up happening is that we experienced that power of attorney live. Like that was part of what we were able to do. So we were able to exercise the power of attorney that she had granted to us. And remember, most people think, well, why would an 18-year-old need a power of attorney? Precisely for that. And so move forward, 4 months later, she passed away. And this is actually part of her legacy and part of her story, to exercise this. So this is a very personal thing for all of us at the Ramos household.
So, and just to clarify for anyone who didn't quite understand the math of that, because your daughter was a legal adult, she was over 18. If she was incapacitated in a coma, did you, as her father, or your wife, as her mother, have any legal authority to make decisions for her without the power of attorney?
Right. Yeah, that's a good question and a good clarification. The moment that, all of all parents out there, we all love our children and we care for them. But once they are of legal age, it doesn't matter what you say or think. You may not have the opportunity to act in their place and be their basically their attorney in fact. In other words, be able to say the things that they would say because you know them and make the decisions that are so important, maybe like signing a do not resuscitate order, or even worse, saying it's okay to pull the plug on all the equipment. So those things are so important because you won't be able to do that without these documents.
Hmm. So, how would you describe kind of the emotions, the feelings that it gave you and your family, knowing that you could act in your daughter's best interest since you had this document? What difference did that make for you?
Right. And it was a close call for us. So I want to make a distinction that it was a very, very close call.
Hmm.
So we obtained the power of attorney before she was put in a medically induced coma. So I want to make sure that that distinction goes out there. But we still had the same effect. We were able to, in fact, say what we wanted, to happen, extend her life as much as possible, figure out what doctor and medical intervention would go into place. Otherwise, they would have done all that for her. And so the emotional part of it is that, the way that you feel about it is that it kind of gave us the power back in our hands. And though we looked at this very spiritual, we were relying on God, we were praying to God, but at some point you do have to make a choice and a decision that is going to be life altering. So we felt that at least we had the opportunity to make a life changing decision that we felt good about.